Thanks, guys. So I've been to Madrid quite a lot, and I've never seen it rain like this. I'm wondering if it's because I'm talking about London for the next 15 minutes. Maybe that's it. So, just to tell you a little bit about what I do, my name is Sara, and I work for the Google for Entrepreneurs team. It's been a really exciting week for us. We've announced Campus in Madrid. So I'm going to talk through what Campus has done in London so far, what it actually is. So I guess the high level is, when I used to work for startups 5 or 6 years ago, in London, they weren't really talking to each other. Everyone had something somebody else needed, whether that was skills, contacts, even some advice around career progression. So with Campus, really, it's a connecting space for early stage entrepreneurs, giving them the support network they need, education, mentoring, and really what they need to kind of get to the next level. What impact have we had so far? This is kind of small, so I'm going to read a few stats to you. We've got 32,000 members who've signed up for our free campus card. They've gone to the website campuslondon.com. You get like a library card, you can work in the space completely for free. We've got over 90 nationalities working in the building. We had 60,000 event attendees so far this year in 10 months, and our companies have raised 20 million in funding. I'm just going to keep talking louder and louder. Our companies have raised 20 million in funding and created 2,000 jobs in the last year. So given it's been 2.5 years, given it began as a test, I'm so proud of those stats. And I really hope we can do exactly the same in Madrid. So I guess the question I get asked quite a lot is why do we do this? And Mary Grove touched on this the other day by talking about we're a company that's still run by our founders. We're a company that's always had a really strong entrepreneurial spirit. So for example, when I first became involved in Campus, it was through our 20% program where you spend 1 day a week working on something very different to your normal job. But we also know that entrepreneurship is really contagious and has a massive impact. So if you think about economies, startups drive change faster. They create more jobs, they create more impact. And I particularly love this stat. If you know someone that's begun a company, you're 30% more likely to begin one yourself. It's all about contacts and knowledge. Sorry, the formatting's gone kind of funny here. And why did we pick London for our first test case? I think first of all, if you look at the US, you've got tech in San Francisco, you've got film in LA, you've got media, finance in New York. London has all of these industries in a comparatively small city. So geographically, Campus is in East London, right between the money in the city and the creative agencies in Soho. It's very well placed. I think secondly, there was a certain amount of density happening in London. I think the stat I read was last year, 15,000 new companies were created in the postcode that Campus is situated in. Not all at Campus, but a really good indicator of the sheer level of growth happening right now. And thirdly, we have a really strong Google office in London. This is something that really we hope to kind of add an extra layer. So what does it look like? This is Campus. The top picture is the cafe space. It's normally a lot busier than this. The bottom space is a hackathon taking place over a weekend. It's a 7-story building. In the basement, we have a cafe where anybody can come in and work, get really good coffee, meet an investor. We have our weekly mentoring in there. We have a device lab that's entirely free and accessible and cross-platform. We have a physical jobs board that's so popular. It makes me laugh so much that handwritten job adverts with phone numbers on are still so popular. We have 2 floors of co-working, which is run by our partner Tech Hub. Or we have an event space on the ground floor and the 3rd floor. And a lot of what we put into Campus came from the community. They said to us that hosting events in London was really hard because London is so expensive. You always had to have events in the pub. So we put together 2 event spaces, one for 140, one for 65, very flexible, adaptable spaces. And we host about 3 to 4 events every single day. Now what's crucial about this event space is it's free. Anybody can apply to host an event, and all we ask is that the event itself is free and that it's for the startup community. And what it means is we can host loads of other companies, whether it's conferences, hackathons, meetups, demo days. The sheer variety of what we host is pretty exciting. And I think looking at Madrid, we spent the last few days seeing some of the amazing work happening here, from maker spaces to incubators. And we're hearing the same things about space. We're hearing the same things about, I want to run this event in a really scrappy way and bring some beers along. That's exactly what we do in London, and it's really successful. And what can you do at Campus as a startup? work in the cafe. I think particularly the cafe space is legendary in terms of serendipitous meetings. I've lost count of the number of people I've bumped into there. I used to be a journalist, and last week I bumped into a colleague. I used to work on Glamour magazine, and I bumped into her in the cafe, and she's now an entrepreneur and has begun a business, which is exciting. You can test your app, you can meet investors. We're very lucky, and a lot of the investors do come to our events. And it removes the kind of anxiety of that relationship to be able to bump into someone, introduce yourself, show them what you're working on without the normal anxieties there. And okay, so that's straightforwardly what you can do at campus. And I should also mention our partners as well, because I don't think I've touched on that enough. When we opened campus, we really looked at what we could do. We were like, well, okay, we've got the building. We can be the kind of connector, but we know very well that Tech Hub in London are very much the best at running co-working spaces. We know that UP, who runs Startup Weekend, are the best at running these weekend-long hackathons that really galvanize the community. We know Seedcamp are one of the most respected European funds. So we chose to partner with them. They work inside our building. And what's particularly nice about that is it means we constantly have their communities, their events as well. We can all team up together. So yeah, this is the Google element. And on the left-hand side, you can see mentoring. Every single Friday morning, we run mentoring sessions on a different topic. So this week, it's around writing user stories, so part research, part editorial. Previously, we've done everything from Google products, software development, hiring, legal. Legal is very popular, especially with our internal legal team. And a team come over to campus, and you spend half an hour talking one-to-one with somebody. Very casual, very straightforward. And last year, we hosted 1,000 hours of mentoring. We also do a lot of events for our developer community. At I/O Extended this year, we had 1,000 developers in the building, hearing about new Google products, getting to try things out. And thirdly, we have a certain element of Google programs. About 95% of the events that we host are run by the community, but we host certain ones ourselves. So for example, Campus for Mums, which is just run in Madrid at Impact Hub, it's one of my favorite programs, just because we realize that we know women are creating great companies, but they're not always coming to spaces like ours. Certainly in the 30s and 40s. We actually have about 30% women working at campus, which is good, but I still think we can do better. So this particular program, it's a baby-friendly startup school. The idea being that you begin the course with an idea, and you finish it with a wireframe, a business plan, customer feedback, all the while, laptop in one hand, baby in the other. And there's something so nice. At the end, we have a demo day, and we get about 8 investors come in. And it's so nice seeing the investors walk into the room and see that many babies, because it almost recalibrates your thinking. And I wanted to kind of talk through really quickly 2 startups that I think are doing an amazing job right now. This is Richard. His company's ITs. And what they do is they're a hardware fin offering geo-targeted advertising. So if you go past in the morning, the advert's coffee, go past in the evening, it's theater. He's recently launched in the US, Latin America. He's now looking at the Spanish market, and that's why I thought he was quite a good fit. He moved into campus in the really early days, 2012. His revenue since then has grown 100 times. There's still 2 people. They still sit in campus. In terms of the benefit to the community for him, it's a very cheap, affordable way of sitting right in the action, growing without spending too much money, and also inspiring a lot of the more junior entrepreneurs around him. I love this story. And secondly, borrow my doggy. This is really nice. So Ricky, the founder here, she went to a startup weekend, and on the first night, she got talking to a guy. And the idea behind Startup Weekend is you build a company. She got talking to a guy, and he said, what do you really want in your life? Because they hadn't come up with a company. And she said, I live in a flat, and I really want a dog. And he said, there must be a market in that. Can you not borrow someone's dog for the weekend? They put up a holding page. By the end of Sunday, they had 90 signups who wanted to borrow dogs. The idea being that, particularly in places like London, where there's a lot of people who live in flats, and I'm sure in Madrid too, a lot of the time, pet owners haven't got the time to walk their dogs. At the other end of the scale, there are loads of people with allergies who perhaps can't have them but love dogs. It's matching those 2 audiences together. And the revenue model there is you pay a subscription fee, which covers insurance in case anything happens to the dog while you're looking after it. So yeah, they began at Startup Weekend. They were funded by Seedcamp. I think they're at Series A at the moment. They're doing really well. And I think this is just such a lovely, feel-good story. Particularly because our focus at campus is we don't choose who comes to campus. It's completely open access. I think that's really important to stress. Obviously, we have a lot of tech companies. We also have a lot of companies that use tech for other verticals, whether that's food, whether that's fashion. And this is something I've been asked a lot this week. Why Spain? Why Madrid? And I guess going back to our criteria for London, bearing in mind we only have 2 campuses worldwide, London and Tel Aviv, startup nation, very straightforward. Madrid really has it all, exactly the same. So many established industries here. We know very well it's a hugely entrepreneurial nation, hugely entrepreneurial city. Secondly, the startup density. I talked to so many startups in the last couple of days, and I was really impressed at the sheer variety of what's going on. And I think also, given the current economic situation, people are kind of doing so much with so little. It's so impressive. So I really hope with Campus we can amplify what's happening already and lift it. And thirdly, we have a really great Google office here. There are certain programs like the mentoring that we're really hoping to run in Madrid as well. And I think the kind of stage we are at now is this is where we're going to be next year. 4 new campuses: Seoul, Sao Paulo, Warsaw, Madrid. It's really exciting. And I think our goals really are to build these local ecosystems with global ambition and a global network, connecting the dots between all these various spaces and all of our Google for Entrepreneur partner networks, whether that's a co-working space in Nairobi, whether that's our contacts in the Valley, really kind of working together to have more impact and build great companies. Thank you. And I've got a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Feel free to tweet me if you don't want to ask in public. Hi. Sorry? It'll be next spring. Yeah. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, that's working.
I would swear I saw Brazil as a main spot for the next year. Did I get it right?
Sorry?
I think I saw Brazil.
So we're also launching a campus in Sao Paulo next year too.
Yeah, São Paulo.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest Vila Olimpia. That's a neighborhood where all the startups are located there. I was born in Rio de Janeiro, so I should know.
Well, I think there are so many, Latin America is such an obvious point of expansion for companies from here and vice versa. And I think the way that we hope the campuses will work, and obviously, London and Tel Aviv, we only have 2 now, so we'll have to see how this goes. But we really hope to run certain programs between all the campuses. We're trialing a program right now called Campus Exchange, where we're bringing 12 European startups to London for 2 weeks. And during that time, investors will be coming in to meet them. They'll be learning from each other. I think we really hope to kind of scale these programs out and really kind of connect the dots, because so many Londoners say to me, how do I meet someone in Berlin? How do we do this? And I keep thinking, sometimes all you need is one email.
Hello. Have you chosen a venue yet?
Sorry, hi.
Hi. Have you chosen a venue yet? Like, where's it going to be in Madrid?
I think because we haven't really confirmed that, I can't really speak about that yet. It's definitely going to be next spring, and we will have more details really soon. But I think our goal for this particular week certainly was to kind of come here to listen, to learn. With London, really what we did is kind of speak to the community and understand what they needed and where the gaps were, and hope to fill those. It's very important to emphasize we don't want to compete in any way. We would never. That's very much not our intention. That's very much not our value system. We really want to kind of understand what's happening in the community, who we can help, and how we can do it. Over here?
It was Juan Cartagena, who was actually at Campus London a
No,
couple years
really?
ago here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I want also to make him tell a little bit about his
Yeah,
experience.
I would love that, yeah.
1 minute.
Okay, I'm sure less than 1 minute. So yeah, I think we were there in April 2012. So pretty much 1 month after Google Campus London started, and it was a super great experience. We met our first investors in there, over there. We met Eric Schmidt. We met the CFO at Google. It was like incredible people every single week. Talks. And I think it was a great place. I think it became the very heart of the Silicon Roundabout in London. And we'll be looking forward to seeing how that develops in Madrid. So thank you very much for creating that and giving us this opportunity.
Thank you. I promise we didn't plan this. That's such amazing feedback, and that's exactly what we hope to do. I think we're out of time, I'm afraid, but thank you so much. We can talk afterwards. Come find me afterwards. Thank you.